For the past few weeks, I've been shooting exclusively on the Nikon ZR, basically since the day that it officially shipped and was in my hands. And since shooting on it, I have learned that this camera can do a lot, but there are a few accessories that can really help you get more out of this camera. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna break down all the accessories that I've been using for this guy and a few other accessories that I think will actually help level this camera up even further to allow it to be used in an even more professional environment, like on a movie set. So the first accessory I actually wanna talk about is the one that I actually already have on the bottom here, and this is an Arca Swiss base plate. But this base plate is not like every other base plate out there because it actually has a secret weapon, and that is the fact that it has a opening for an air tag. As some of you guys know, a few weeks ago, my car was broken into and quite a bit of my gear was stolen. And I really wish I had something like this on my camera, but live and learn. So what's nice about this base plate is even though there is a spot for an Arca Swiss and an air tag in here, it still actually fits perfectly with the actual size of the actual camera itself. So I love the fact that it doesn't add a whole lot of bulk, and it's something that I can throw on this camera and use with basically almost any tripod that I want to utilize, because the bottom of it also still has a few threaded points. So that way, if I needed to put a different base plate on the bottom here, I can totally do that and keep my camera fully protected and have that spot for the air tag. Now, while this is the first accessory that I picked up for this guy, there is actually one that I'm actually more excited that recently just came in. This is the new SmallRig Nikon ZR cage, and it is completely customly built for this camera, and it solves a lot of the issues that I have when it comes to the ergonomics of this camera. For starters, this camera doesn't have much of a grip, and so they added a nice rubberized, super comfortable grip directly to the cage, and they even left a spot right here at the top that's flat for your finger to rest on. The other thing that I like is that all of the buttons are accessible. It does look initially as though that you won't be able to get to your custom buttons, but you can totally get to your custom buttons, and you can see they've even continued along the branding from the actual camera to let you know a few of the buttons that are originally labeled. However, I will say I have changed all of my custom buttons at this point. The other thing that I like about it is that there are 3 points of contact from the camera to the cage. You've got the screw at the very bottom, but then on the sides of the actual camera, you also have a locking pin here and a locking pin here that goes into where the camera strap is gonna be. I'll be honest with you guys, because I shoot video, I never use a camera strap, so losing those ports doesn't bother me, but it is nice to see that on the top, they did replace them with one inside of the cage, so that's really nice. On top of that, you got mounting points all over the camera. You got mounting points on the top, you got mounting points on the side, you have mounting points on this side, as well as it does come with something to actually hold your HDMI port. So if you're gonna plug in an HDMI cable, you can actually lock that into place. We're gonna get to that in just a bit. And then on the bottom, as you can see, the door has full access, so you can totally open up the door and still get access to your battery, access to your memory card without having to do anything weird there. And then, of course, the bottom is also Arca Swiss with tons of additional mounting points on it. So personally, I gotta say that this cage is a must buy. If you're gonna pick up the ZR, I do strongly recommend you pick up a cage. Now, I have already pre-ordered the Condor Blue cage as well that has been announced. So hopefully that comes out here pretty soon. I've heard, rumblings on the internet that it might come out around January. We'll wait and see. But for now, this is definitely a go-to. And in case you guys are wondering, yes, I can still attach this base plate to the bottom of this one. So that way I can still have my air tag and Arca Swiss, even though the cage itself has Arca Swiss. Now, a few other accessories that I've been using quite a bit have got to be these guys here. Now, this one is actually a recycled memory card that I used back when I had my Red. And this is a 2 terabyte card. I will tell you guys right now, if you can get the largest capacity memory card, you can. I will say the Nikon ZR definitely uses up a lot of storage. However, just having 1 or 2 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte cards are gonna go a long way. I will also mention there is a 1 terabyte Angelbird card that I've been using. It's red branded, and so I was using it with the camera. That seems to be the only memory card I've been running into issues where it will like just stop recording midway through. So you might want to stay clear of that one, but pretty much every other memory card that I have, I've been testing them. They all have been working great. And then you're also going to want to pick up one of these. Now, there are so many CFexpress Type-B readers on the market, but I have found that this one is not super expensive and it works great. The one thing that I really love about this one is that when you actually put your memory card into it, it's sort of push controlled. So you put the memory card in and then you push it in and then it's locked into place. You can't accidentally take it out, and then you push it and then that actually releases it. And what I like about that is this is something that's small, you can throw in your bag and it just works. It also has USB-C as well as this little dongle that's already pre-attached that'll let you go into USB-A. And so overall, this is definitely the one I would recommend. I've used tons of other ones that are way more expensive. This one is the go-to. So now let's jump into something that I posted a reel over on Instagram, and I guess it wasn't super clear, but the thing that I was talking about in that video is that the fact that with the Nikon Z mount, you have the ability to adapt so many lenses. And I even said the word adapt in the reel, but I guess it just went over people's heads. But I wanted to talk about a few of the adapters that I have been using for the ZR in order to incorporate different lens mounts with this system. Obviously, the big one that most people want to talk about is the Sony lens mount. So this is a Sony 24-70 version 1 G Master lens, and I just have a Megadapt adapter on the bottom of this. So if you guys can see, I can unscrew this here for a second, but that's it. That's the adapter. It's super thin, super tiny, and I think that was the problem, because when people saw this on my reel, they didn't realize that there was even an adapter on here. And that's the crazy part. It's so small that you don't even realize it's on there. So if you've got some Sony lenses, you can absolutely adapt those to the Nikon ZR, and it works really well. The autofocus even works really well on here. So yeah, absolutely, this is a really solid way to go. But that's not the only adapter you can get. There are also Z to EF adapters. So this is how I'm actually getting my EF lenses, like this Z lens here. I'm getting this onto the Nikon ZR. And if the lens does support autofocus, well then this works as well. So you can actually put EF autofocusing lenses onto the ZR. I will say results may vary, but you can do it. So this is another adapter that I have. This just allows me to take older Nikon photography lenses, like the ones that work with their film cameras, and adapt that over to the Z mount. And the one that probably got the most questions aside from the Sony is this guy here. This is the Mofage PL to Z adapter. And so the way that this works is this just a PL mount. So this works with any PL lens, as you can see. I can just pop that off like that. And what I love about it is if you can kind of see in there, there's actually a drop-in filter. So I can press this button here and actually release the filter. And so that is a variable ND filter that actually sits inside of the PL adapter. Now, I will say this does mean that it doesn't work with every single lens, but you can absolutely test a lens's flange distance to see if it's gonna work for you. I have found that this thing is really solid. I love it. I love having the built-in ND into the PL adapter, especially when you're working with PL lenses, because most of the time what you end up having to do is put a matte box on it, and it kind of becomes a little bit of a hassle. So by having the ND built into the PL adapter, you can totally make that work. I will say I've also picked up the Viltrox PL to Z adapter. I love that one because obviously it's way less expensive. It's super robust, especially for the price. And so if you're in a situation where you already own matte boxes or screw-on filters for your lenses, so you don't need the drop-in and you don't want to spend the extra money, then I totally recommend going with the Viltrox option. Quickly, I want to also go over some of the things I've been going through when it comes to batteries. So there's a few things here. This company I found on Amazon. I think it's pronounced Leono, something like that. I don't know. But I love this charger for a few reasons. One, it actually can charge 4 batteries simultaneously, and it's got 2 USB-C ports on here, which is actually super cool because you can use one to send power into the device. That way you can actually be charging the batteries, and then you can use the USB-C on the other side to send power out. So that way if you want to be charging something else, you can totally do that at the same time, and you don't have to take up as many wall sockets. The other thing that I picked up are actually this same brand's Leono's extra batteries. Now, their batteries for the Nikon Z cameras are not super expensive, and you can find them pretty much everywhere. But what I love about this one in particular is the fact that on the actual battery itself, there's a little push button that'll immediately tell you how much power the battery itself has. And on the back, if you're ever in like a weird situation and you need to charge it, there is a USB-C port on the bottom. And this is something that I've been seeing a lot on some other batteries, like my S1 II batteries that I picked up from SmallRig have the same thing. This is an actual Nikon battery, and while the Nikon battery is probably more robust and it's gonna last longer and might be better for the camera, I gotta say the overall like life change that having a battery like this with the actual touchscreen integration to know how much power it has and the USB-C on the back, it's absolutely worth it. And because I can obviously work with this exact same case and drop them both in here and charge them all simultaneously, this is a must-have if you're using the ZR. Now, I know this rig probably seems a little crazy to say the least, but this is where I say this camera is totally capable of being a professional setup. So a few things I've already talked about here, like the SmallRig cage is still on the camera. The PL adapter here with the actual drop-in ND filters is still on camera, which, you know, is fantastic, especially for, you know, trying to dial in your exposure. However, currently, I do have the entire camera built inside of a camera Foundry CineBack system developed by my friend Caleb Pike from DSLR Video Shooter. And this thing gives you so many options. For starters, as you can see, I can mount a ton of stuff on here. I have a Mofage arm on here that's actually connected to the monitor. One thing that I love that he added on here is that on the Pro version, there is an HDMI pass-through. So I literally have a micro HDMI going through here. And then on the other side, I have a full-size HDMI that comes out and is going straight into the monitor, which means I can at any time hook up just about any HDMI monitor and it'll work without any issues. The other thing that I love is all the additional power options. So as you can see right here, I've actually got 4 DTAP ports, one of which I'm using to actually power the monitor, and I've got 2 USB-C ports here, and one of which right now I'm actually using to power up the camera. And I can do all this power just based off of a V-mount block on the back. Now, he did mention that there will be a gold mount option coming soon, because I know there's a lot of people who already have gold mount batteries, but I love that all of this is built out, and it actually allows me to add in a few additional accessories. Another couple pro accessories that I got from my friends over at Mutiny are these Mutiny Timecode boxes. So this is something specific for the actual ZR. So one of the things that I love here is the fact that I can go out of the camera's audio port into this timecode box, and then what this is going to allow me to do is to be able to get a 5-pin timecode box back here going directly in, and because this camera does support timecode, I can actually run my timecode directly from the box into the camera. But it doesn't take over my audio port because I still have an audio in jack right here if I wanted to plug in a monitor and record scratch audio directly to it. It's fantastic. I can't believe that you can actually do this with a camera that costs $2,200. Also, Mutiny created this little run stop button right here that you can see on the top. And what this allows me to do is then to be able to actually start and stop recording from here, because the ZR does have a remote control function built into the camera as well. So with this rig, I really can take this onto a professional set. As you can see, I still have access to all of my shortcut buttons here. I still have access to my record button right here on the top, as well as my record button that's down here on the front. I have a full-size lens on here with lens support. As you can see, built into this guy is the actual rail system as well. So I'll probably get a more low profile like lens support, but for now, this is just what I got. And it all is powered off of this one V mount. So I've always said that I've never had an issue with the image that comes out of the ZR. As far as I'm concerned, the image that comes out of ZR is absolutely amazing. However, if you need to use it on a professional set, well, there's a couple things you need to be able to add in, like ND or time code or monitor or power. And so with this CineBack system, along with a lot of these other accessories from Mutiny, it allows me to turn this into a baby cinema, not a baby cinema camera, a full-fledged cinema camera. I mean, obviously, this is a lot. And to try to do all of this, some people might say, why don't you just pick up a Red? And I would say if I can shoot on a Red, I probably would. But right now, don't have one. So I'm going to make this $2,200 camera work. And thanks to all of these amazing accessories, this is a kit that I feel like I could take out onto a professional film set and actually get professional outcomes from it. So this is sort of my accessory breakdown. If you guys have any additional accessory questions, leave those in the comments. I'll also have links to all the products that I talked about in this video in the description as well. So that way, if you want to check out any of them for yourselves, you can absolutely do that. I will say they are affiliate links. So when you click on them and buy stuff, it doesn't cost you any extra, but it does support the channel. And so I thank you guys for doing that and supporting me throughout this entire filmmaking journey. I couldn't do it without you guys. But thank you guys so much for checking out this video, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.